All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Kealoha Nakamura, and I am an actor based in Los Angeles. I'm from San Diego, California. And then also, I guess this is kind of pertinent to the Asian actors and actors of color. My ethnicity is Japanese and Filipino, and then a small portion Chinese as well. I think as we move into like expanding and like you say, like highlighting Asian actors, I think it's important to differentiate that there are more than just Chinese and Korean actors. Because I think Korean actors done an amazing job breaking into Hollywood and leading the way. But also we want to start highlighting the others. So I'm Japanese Filipino. That's who I represent. And yeah, I think that's my intro. So I didn't actually start acting until I was, how old was I? I think I was 24 years old when I first jumped into like an acting class. And that was like a first step. My mom was an actress before, when I was like a little kid, and then even a little bit before that. So she got us connected with her agent when I was like 6 or 7. And then when I was 12, I got to do like this cool commercial for the Hilton. But aside from that, I didn't have any acting experience. I actually went to college for kinesiology and athletic training, got my undergraduate degree there. And then I was like, this is not something I want to do for my career. So my little sister has been an actress. She's been in TV shows on like Nickelodeon. She's been in like independent films. And my mom suggested that I try that because my sister and I are kind of similar, but in ways I kind of stand out more than she does. So I went to an acting class in San Diego, loved it, and got connected with some friends that I just met through like Facebook to do like short films and web series and stuff like that in San Diego. And I loved it, kept pursuing it. And I decided to move up to LA to pursue it even further.
No, that's great, man.
The main thing is my sister's more introverted. I'm definitely extroverted. The more people around, the better I do at anything. It's a phenomenon that confuses me too. But like some people are better when there's no pressure and there's nobody around. I like to be bigger. My personality like shines more when there are more people. I like to be the life of the party. I love dancing at weddings and stuff. And then like I really put myself out there when there's a crowd. That's such a good take on it. And when you brought the subject up, I thought about it. I was like, it makes sense. Not to say that like these women are like pimping themselves out or anything for a role, but yeah, I think with the hierarchy of like white men typically being in positions of power throughout all of entertainment, and then Asian women being almost like the perfect build and perfect height and like just beautiful faces, like all of that mixed together, they're like, yeah, bring them like our way. And then Asian men are typically shorter. Like if you find an Asian over 6 feet tall, he's probably like one of the very few in his friend group. So Asian men, they're looked at as weaker just because we're shorter, and we're not we weren't, I should say, necessarily dedicated to being in amazing shape or like big manly men, aside from like our ancestors that like fought in wars and stuff. But like when you think of the stereotypical man, that if he's Asian, he's typically shorter, and that's a sign of weakness in like traditional culture, or for American culture anyways. So I think they wanted to leave that off the screen and then bring Asian women to the front because, like you said, the fetishization definitely played a huge role. Uh, I personally have not. Thankfully, I've been very blessed to work with people that are very loving and accepting. The first woman to actually ever give me like a real shot, her name is Monroe Hayden. She's the founder and owner of what's called Skysoft Entertainment. You can look them up, skysoftentertainment.com. They have web series that I've been a part of, but she gave me my first real shot. And her being a woman of color and an advocate for like bringing people of color to screens and entertainment. She's really like looked out for us and protected us as actors. Also, the first acting teacher that I had, his name is Kerry Scott in San Diego. He is the owner of the rehearsal room. He was also very big on inclusiveness. Like there were so many different genders and races inside of our acting class that he wanted to make sure that it was a safe space, so he would interview us before bringing us in just to make sure that we're protected. As far as like casting goes, like you said, we got to have a thick skin in this industry, so even if anything was said or done to me, it rolls off my back, so don't even notice it. It's definitely, I mean, life is a learning experience. And even the stuff that we were talking about earlier about just talking through theories and stuff, like it's all about learning. As far as dating goes, dating's such a touchy subject, or not touchy, I should say. I should say complex for myself. Um, right now, this point in my life, I, I don't necessarily see myself dating anybody just because like I'm so hard pressed to make this career something that I can live off, and not only live off of, but provide for my family as well. So, oh, sorry about that. So, I mean, I just have a lot of work to do right now, and I don't think it's fair to get into a relationship and then put a girl through all this stress because I'm straight, so I'm looking for a girl. Um, so I don't think it's fair of me to put somebody into a relationship where I'm literally at the bottom of the ladder right now, and I'm really just fighting tooth and nail to work my way up. Um, as far as like interest in girls go, oh, also I'm not shutting out the idea of dating. If I meet somebody and it happens organically, I'm all for it. As far as dating goes, my only real requirement is that they share the same faith as me. I'm a Christian. I was born and raised a Christian, and I'm looking for somebody who shares the same values and beliefs that I do. Um, I am also, I mean, I just find beauty in almost everything I see. So as far as like ethnicity or race goes, like there are beautiful girls everywhere, all over the world. And like every skin color, every build, every height, whatever you want to say. So I don't even necessarily have a type. It's just as long as I vibe with the person and she vibes with me, then that's all good. Yeah, I have not dated outside of my race too much, not because I don't want to. It's part of me did like blame my I blame my height more than I blame my race, but I also blamed my race a lot in the beginning of like dating and relationships because in San Diego you got handsome like white guys and handsome black guys all over the place. And I was like just this short little kid, and I'm like, man, if only I was that like 6 foot guy and like built and or not even built because I was pretty athletic, but if only I was like that tall like those guys, then women would approach me. Yeah, I don't know. It's the long blonde hair or like the athletic build, I guess. Um, well, I mean, like there's several things I guess you could say. Um, like I said, I really like to put myself out there. I I mean, I approach women when I have interest in them. I've gotten a few comments though that kind of like really put a dent in my self-confidence when it comes to dating. Like I've been called creepy, I've been called insecure, and then those were like two of the bigger ones. The last one was not very uplifting. She called me sketchy, and I was like, yeah, you know what, I guess. So yeah, so past experience like that. Sometimes, or a lot of the time, I guess I come off too direct, just because I know what I want. You know, I'm not here to like, I'll provide the deal, I guess you can say, or the details, and then yeah, we'll go from there. If it's not a connection, it's not a connection. So no hard feelings about that. And then as far as like so the comments was one thing. Two, people just not wanting the same thing as me or can't handle like my direct approach. The third one, specifically towards online dating, I'm terrible at like getting pictures taken of me. Like I'll have a picture of me and then that'll be like my profile picture for like 5 years, just because like it almost seems like narcissistic to get pictures taken of like just myself in my head. That's like an obstacle I'm trying to get over. So I don't present a good online presence. I don't think it's a very accurate depiction of myself either. So I think that's another thing. So as far as like the fetishizing of like Asian men, I it's hard for me to think that that's like really a thing, just because of the way that we've been portrayed in media and whatnot. I would say that yeah, most of the time that women, like even before like inclusion became like a big thing or K-pop became like what it is, I think a lot of people were that dated Asian men did it out of a genuine appreciation for who they were as a person and like their personality. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
As far as myself, what I see myself doing, um, I I prefer the gentlemanly route. I don't think that it makes me look weak, but I don't do it out of a sense of I have to. I do it out of a sense of I want to do this, and if I don't want to do this, I'm not going to do it. I I don't see myself dating or being with anybody in the next 5 years, really. I think dating and relationships and starting a family, I think that's a longer game for me. Hopefully within the next 10, but you never know. I yeah, I don't have too many concerns anymore because I think I've done a lot of self work, and I've done a lot of like spiritual like a lot of spiritual practice in order to get myself to a place where I'm very comfortable with who I am, physically, emotionally, and personally. So any stereotypes that come against me, like I said, thick skin just rolls off the bat. If somebody likes me and somebody genuinely wants to be with me, they will be, despite anything that is negative, anything even positive. They'll love me for who I am, flaws and all. Yeah, that's my hope. I actually do. I just recognized that I have a thing for like taller women,
Wow.
which is interesting. Yeah, I got a hug from a girl that was like 6'1" or something, and I was like, "This is the best thing that I've ever experienced." I mean, I'm not putting any boundaries up for like dating. As far as like what I prefer, aside from like my religion, but like what I prefer, like preferences are so limiting, you know? It's like you could be missing out on an amazing person for yourself just because she doesn't fit your like your box, you know?
Yeah.
As far as like the advice you're giving me about like friend zoning and stuff, like I don't think I need to cuss them out necessarily. But, yeah, I mean, if you're dating, there's no reason to be in a friend zone. Just we'll just stop talking, you know?
Mhm.
Like like why be friends in the first place? Um, so yeah, what you said is interesting. I got to sit on it. Some of it did come off like kind of misogynistic, and like I know that's not your intention at all. Like your intention is to help guide people that are in difficult situations. So I'll yeah. When I start opening myself up and like dating again, though, I do agree with you that I think that like the sites that you invest in and you pay for are the ones that have more commitment, and those are probably the ones that I'll try, if not going through like adult classes like at a rec center or a community center or community college. As picking up women, I don't think I'm going that route.